Alright, hey guys, it's Coleman here. Just gonna show you a little video of me putting in two packages of honeybees on April 27th, 2013, and just with my grandpa and my father's the one filming. So I have a Carnolian package and Italian hygienic package. The Carnolian is the one that I'm standing over right now, and the Italian is the one on the left. So, anyways, yeah, just enjoy this video as I explain what I'm doing. As you can see, we're only putting these hives in one box for now until they draw out the comb. Then we'll keep adding boxes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pry out the can of sugar syrup or corn syrup. It can be either or, and that's just what the supplier puts in to feed the bees during transit. And that's the hole in it, and it's gonna have some bees clinging onto it. And when you take it out, you're gonna want to put something over that hole, whether it's piece of paper, and if you get them in the mail, there's a wooden plank, okay, tank type of thing. And then you're gonna take out your queen cage. There's gonna be bees all over that, so just shake it off and check to make sure that your queen is alive. And if it isn't alive, which is very uncommon, just contact your supplier and they should give you a free queen, like another queen to replace that queen. But our queen's alive and looking good, so we're just gonna get ready to put her in the hive. And we're not gonna take her out of her queen cage quite yet, because the bees in the package haven't accepted her yet as their own queen. But the first thing I'm gonna do is there's a cork on one end. This is a Californian queen cage, so there's no candy end or anything, and there's no attendants in there with her. So you're gonna take out the cork when she's facing the other way, and normally and then you're gonna take that cork. You're just gonna put it in your pocket if you're doing a lot of packages, but I'm only doing two right now. And then there'll be a black tab, at least on mine, and you black kind of a cork with sugar candy in it, and then you shove that in when she's looking the other way, because you don't want your queen to fly out. So you're gonna take out a frame. You're gonna take out a few frames, 3 or 4, and you're gonna take another one out, and you're gonna take your queen cage, and you're gonna take a rubber band, and you're gonna take that queen cage, and you're just gonna put it in between the frame and the rubber band. And if there's attendants in with the queen, make sure you put up the candy side up. Now mine didn't have any attendants, so it really didn't matter, but I put mine up anyways. So anyways, you're gonna take off the cover. You're gonna bang it, and you're just gonna pour like so. Just pour in the hive. Pretty simple. There'll be bees flying everywhere, and you're not gonna get all the bees. You can, but there's really no point. And you just pretty much just lean that package box up against the hive, and when the other bees that are already in the hive, they'll be putting their pheromones on, and they'll just crawl up into the hive, the ones that are in the package. And I decided to get my gloves on right here because they're making me a little nervous. So anyways, I'm just gently pushing these bees back down into the box and making sure there's some over the queen to keep her warm, because in Utah it's still pretty cold. And I'm going to slowly put the other frames back in, making sure to be as gentle as I can with the bees and try not to smush or kill any of them. So I put all the frames in, and I'm just making sure my box is okay. Then I'm going to grab my inner cover. I'm just going to lean that against the hive real quick, and I'm going to take out my a pollen patty. Just a protein source for these bees until they can get enough pollen stored up for themselves, and because they don't have any drawn comb yet in these new hives. So I'm just gonna put this pollen patty in there. This is just pollen substitute, it's NutriBee, and I'm gonna just lay that down there. It's in between two pieces of wax paper, and they're gonna eat that out. Then I'm gonna put on my inner cover, and notice the notch, which is facing forward. And then I'm gonna take my pail, my 1 gallon pail, which is full of sugar syrup, pre-made, and you can find videos online how to make that also. And I just had a piece of tape over, so I'm gonna take that off, and I have the holes in it, and I'm gonna have to let it create a vacuum. So I'm just sitting there and letting the excess kind of drain out, because I don't want that all over my hive. And once it starts to make a vacuum, which it just did, place it over that little that hole in the inner cover, and those bees immediately went to that. They were really thirsty. I shake all the bees off my my box, which has no frames, just to keep that pail feeder from blowing away if it's empty. And then I'm gonna take my telescoping cover and just make sure I'm not gonna smudge any bees, and just pop that bad boy on. So there's one package done. That's my carnelian package. Just gonna put some bricks on top because there's a lot of raccoons. Alright, and then I'm gonna get going on my other one. Just one note here, a lot of videos, they're spraying sugar syrup on them. If you're in a colder climate, Idaho, Utah, Montana, Alaska especially, any place where it gets cold, you don't want to spray them with water or sugar syrup, because they'll freeze just because of the climate. It's happened to a lot of people I know, and I just don't want to take the risk. So yep, I'm taking out this can, the can of sugar syrup on my other hive, and I'm just deciding to take out the queen right now instead of using the piece of paper. So I take out my queen, and I just prep that thing back in. It's not gonna fall back in, and I actually smushed a few bees here, but that's okay. There's about 10,000 in each box. They're 3-pound packages. And so anyways, I'm going to check to make sure my queen's doing alright. She looks okay. She looks really good. I don't know. Yeah, you can't really see her that well. So, yeah, same thing. Just gonna take off my one glove so I can take out the cork a little easier. And if you ever feel anxious when you're working with these bees, you just gotta step back for a minute and just take a deep breath and go back in, because once you start getting nervous, you start getting shaky, then you start rushing things, and then once you start rushing things, you make mistakes, and when you make mistakes with bees, normally doesn't turn out the best. So anyways, took out the cork, make sure she's facing the other way, and I'm just gonna put that candy plug in there, and I like to wedge it in there pretty good. And then so in 7 days, I'm not going to disturb this hive at all, unless except to fill up those pail feeders, because they go through those pretty fast. I'll check those every 2 days, but I'm not actually going into the hive. And in 7 days, I'm gonna come out, and if that queen is not released, I am going to directly release her. But hopefully she will be out of her cage and walking around on frames. So again, the rubber band method really works good. Gonna put it in the box. Took out 2 frames right there, and here we go. I'm gonna put back on my glove before I pour in the bees. And here we go. Again, you're just gonna take that can of sugar syrup, and you're gonna don't be scared to bang them on that box. It doesn't hurt them at all, and it doesn't even have to be that big of a blow. Just enough to knock them off, because they're hanging there. Just pour them in. They pour pretty easy. And if there's still a few clinging on the walls of the box, you can just pound it like so. Just pour the rest in. I got a lot more out of this box than the one before it. So again, I'm just gonna set it down in front of my hive. I can't really get to set up on a slant for a little bit. So anyways, there was a lot of bees flying around, so the camera kind of stepped back because he wasn't in a veil or anything. But again, I'm just gonna make sure there's there's workers over that queen cage just to keep her warm, and put a big pollen patty in there. We don't have a big problem with small hive beetles here in the West, here in Utah, but in other places where there is a problem, make sure you're using smaller pollen patties, because the small hive beetles really love those pollen patties. So I'm just going to gently put those frames back in. And I'm almost done. Now this is a different cover. This is a commercial cover. I'm going to pop the hole out of there. Move my pollen patty aside and put that top cover back on. Then I'm going to find my pale feeder. I really like these pale feeders. You can get top feeders, you can get frame feeders, but I don't like the frame feeders. I think they look, I don't know, I've never tried them. But and then the only other one that I would get would probably be the ones where there's that mason jar at the front. But I really like these pale feeders because they're easy to prepare and they're just easy to put on top. And then I'm going to put my bricks on again, and pretty much done. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a comment and subscribe.